So it's the 9th of December, it's wet, it's cold, and we're going away in the pod. So I'm just getting the pod ready to go, packing all that stuff, and yeah. My housemate got into a serious car accident the other day. He was driving down the A500, aquaplaned, spun the car, and then hit into the back of another car. The car that he smacked into was at the side of the road because a few moments earlier it had done the same thing. It had aquaplaned and it had crashed. And then my housemate came along, aquaplaned, and crashed into that car. Luckily, the guy who was in the car previously that had crashed had already gotten out of the vehicle and was stood behind the central reservation. So, speaking of that, I don't know if you heard that, or just ambulances go past. So luckily, everyone was absolutely fine. Both cars are a complete write-off, but I mean, it's just metal, isn't it? And both parties are absolutely fine, walked away. Apart from feeling a little bit stiff the next day, nothing wrong. But then this got me panicking a little bit because I'm driving down the M6 today for about 3 hours and it's raining, and I'm towing a caravan. If I aquaplaned and span, that would be catastrophic. I can't even say it because I'm that nervous of it. So I was on the internet googling what to do if aquaplaning, how to prevent aquaplaning, and basically to prevent it, firstly make sure that your tyres have a good amount of tread on. That's fine, all the tyres are quite relatively new on both vehicles, well, on the caravan and the vehicle. And secondly, well, it's a bit obvious, just keep to a steady speed. And then if you do aquaplane, don't brake, don't accelerate, just let the car cruise until you gain traction again, and just focus on keeping the steering wheel straight. Don't make any sort of movements. So yeah, I mean, I've just got to take it steady. I've got all day to get there, so I'm in no rush whatsoever. So yeah, fingers crossed. It should be fine. Take it steady, take our time, don't do anything stupid, and we'll get there in one piece. So my housemate and I have been buying loads of different types of mince pies from different shops and rating them. So he even started a spreadsheet. So far, these ones from Asda have been our favourite. So I'm going to steal one and take one with me. So we're headed off to Braithwaite Village Camping and Caravan Club site, which is in the north of the Lake District. Now I've booked to stay for 6 nights, so that means that we've got a whole week of adventure. Now it was a long drive, so we made a pit stop at a service station halfway. Now this one in particular had all the HGVs and caravans parking together. And I must admit, I did feel rather silly and small next to some of these huge, giant trucks. But after I got over my inferiority complex, we were back on the road again. So we are finally set up. What a drive. Like, it was a long drive and it was raining, but the closer we got to the Lake District, the more rain came. I started to see the water start pooling on the road, and obviously I'm like, don't aquaplane, so took it very steady. I wanted to film when I got here. I wanted to film me setting up, but the problem is the rain was just coming in sideways, and I just wanted to get set up as soon as possible. I didn't want to be faffing around with cameras and angles and all that stuff. Plus, I didn't want my camera equipment to be outside. So unfortunately, there's no footage of that. Now what I have done, and I don't know how this is going to go, we're going to see. So can you hear the wind and the rain at the moment? So if you saw my last vlog, you'll know that I bought a thermal wrap to go around the pop top to help insulate the pod. Now, what I've done is I put it on again. Even though technically I don't really want it insulating from heat loss, I want it to protect from wind and rain. I'm not sure how waterproof it is. It does seem fairly waterproof, certainly more waterproof than this is. Although this can take some rain, it's kind of like shower proof. When it gets really wet, it does start dripping on the inside. So then you have to put the pop top down, which means I have to come down here and I can't stand up straight in the pod and I end up punching. And it doesn't take long before that gets really annoying, especially because you keep banging your head as well. But yeah, I need some lunch. Oh, there goes my trousers. So because this pod is so small, when everything gets really wet, there's nowhere to dry stuff. So I don't know if you can see. So I've got these like little hooks here that I can't, so my cap's all wet. And then I've got like a coat and my waterproof. And I just put them on hooks and then hang them. Dog stuff goes over the door while he's in the corner, and then hang them and put a towel down so the towel kind of soaks up all the water, and then I just put the towel in the wash basket and get another towel out for tomorrow. But yeah, it does take up quite a bit of space trying to dry everything. Just been outside, had to remove the wrap and put the pop top down. I opened the back of my van to try and put the wrap in, and I had to hold on to one of the split doors because the wind was just coming in. I am absolutely just drenched. I've been outside for no more than a minute, wrapped the pop top up, came in, forced this down. The water thing, it has like a flap over the water pump, and it was just flapping, so I unplugged the water, closed the pump, brought the water inside, and then I moved the van back so it's sideways onto the pod, so it's next to the pod, so it's hopefully going to block it from some wind, because a minute ago it really shook to the point where I had to hold on to everything. And Winston's not bothered by the pond shape. Should I say it again? I'm talking so fast because I'm a little bit flustered. I need to calm down. But the pod had a massive shake and I had to hold on to things, and at one point I thought this could actually go over. It probably wouldn't, but you know when you have that feeling. So that's when I thought the pop top really does need to come down. And Winston's not, we've stayed in windy locations before, and Winston's not really bothered of the odd shake, but when it shook like it did a moment ago, Winston didn't like that, and I could tell he was quite scared. I was quite scared actually. But yeah, we're done now. I am absolutely drenched and the floor is all wet. I just had to throw stuff in, so I'm going to get myself together and get something to eat. I've thoroughly deserved a cup of tea and my stolen mince pie. Okay, so can we talk about yesterday? it was not a fun day. And I was laid in bed last night thinking, why am I doing this? This is not fun. The wind and the rain, I was wet, everything was just everywhere. I was just not happy in that moment. And then you start thinking, why do I even bother doing this? And I have to remind myself that my whole point of getting a caravan and getting my GoPod was to have adventures, or to have a little bit more of an adventurous life. I'm very lucky that as long as I've got this and an internet connection, I can work from wherever I want. And days like yesterday, for me, like in the moment, I don't like it. But now that moment has passed, I think, well, that's what makes an adventure. When someone talks to you and asks you about how was your trip, the thing that I'm going to tell them is how I almost got blown away on the first night, how I almost lost the back door to my van on that night. That makes the adventure, that makes a story, that makes something interesting to tell. So yeah, yesterday was pretty terrible, but it's all part of the adventure that we call life. And speaking of adventures, on that same day, Winston and I went and walked up this hill, which is called Barrow. And I'm sure you'll agree, the views are amazing. So the road there is the A66. This is the village of Braithwaite, and the campsite is about where my finger is. Now on this other side, this is Derwent Water. That there is Cat Bells, which we hiked last time. On the other side is Castle Head, which is where I made my first YouTube short. And then on the shores of Derwent Water, I believe is Keswick Camping and Caravan Club site, which is where we stayed at when we went up to Scotland, and we also paddleboarded on Derwent Water itself. So it's now nice to be back in the Lake District, but on the other side. And my dog just walked into a bush. So I bought this little mini digital thermometer to keep track of the temperature within the pod. Yeah, you've already seen it. So, so we've been out hiking all morning. So we turned the heating off. So that's why it's went down to 9.6. It's going up now, turn the heating on. So it's 12:30. Let's see how long it is before the face turns smiley again. But we shall see. This lives up here. Oh, I just dropped it. So as I was saying, this lives up here in this little corner. Right, it's 15 minutes later, so it's 1:45. The digital thermometer is at 12.4 degrees Celsius. So it's going up. Right, so it's been half an hour. I've ate my macaroni cheese and we're only at 15.2. So we're gonna bring out the big guns and we're gonna turn on my additional camping heater, only on level 1. So it's 1:10. The booster heater has been on for just 10 minutes and we have a smiley face. We are now 22.9 degrees Celsius inside the pod. So I'm going to turn the booster off and just let the pod heater maintain the heat. So I've been trying to make a chicken sandwich, but the butter I've got is Lurpak butter, not the spreadable, like an actual chunk of butter. And although my pod is warm, my fridge is obviously cold, so this is the best I can do without putting holes in my bread. It's not good. I'm not happy with this. But yeah, can anyone give me any tips on how to soften my butter? Can I leave this out? Do I have to actually refrigerate butter? Can I leave it on the side in the tub? If any wise people know the answer to that, please let me know, because I can't keep having sandwiches like this. So it's day 3. I've just gotten up and taken Winston out to go to the toilet, and we're just in the pod now about to have some breakfast. It's still quite dark outside, but it should be a nice day hopefully. We are off on a big hike today. Well, I kind of say big hike. It's about 6 miles. There is quite a bit of up and down to do, but it's about 6 miles, which is the maximum that I'm comfortable doing with my dog at his age. So he is 12 years old now. His enthusiasm levels are still through the roof, and you know, if you want him to go 15 miles in a day, he will do 15 miles in a day, but you will definitely notice him flagging towards the end, and the next day he will be very stiff. There was a time when he was younger that 6 miles would just be a warm-up, but yeah, we just have to adjust as he gets older. He still has just as much fun, and I do as well. So yeah, we're gonna have breakfast, get the backpack ready. I need to go get washed and changed, and then we're off. So whilst I was packing my backpack and we were getting ready to go, a father and a daughter were staying in a camper van next to my pitch. And whilst I was getting ready, they just came over like, "I'm so sorry, can we just have a look inside your pod? I just want to see what the layout is." And I was like, "Well, you can, it's a bit messy, I haven't cleaned it yet." And anyway, they had a look in, I told them about it. And you'd be surprised how many people actually get really interested in the pod when I pull up to a campsite, because it's very unique. It's not like the standard caravan. Everyone wonders, how do you fit in there, and where does everything go, and what have you got in there? Is it just a bed? What is it? So you end up having to show people. It's good to an extent if you're in the mood to be saying hi to a lot of people, but sometimes when you just want to be left alone, you end up having to shut your doors, roll up your window blinds, and just sit inside and just be like, everyone just go away, I'm not doing any tours today. Yeah, it can get a bit much. But you know, it's a unique little caravan. Well, I say it's unique, it is actually factory made. There's a lot of them about. But yeah, it's unique compared to like the standard specification of what you would expect a caravan to be like. So we actually need to be over there where those people are, but we came down here because I want to see, big danger sign, I want to see this, which is Force Crag Mine. I'm guessing it's disused. Doesn't look very in use, but let's go explore. I found some information. It was the last working mineral mine in the Lake District, owned by the National Trust now. Obviously, I'm guessing they're not doing guided tours anymore. Ceased working in 1991 and was declared abandoned in 1992. So where were we? Is that the office? And where's all that stuff? Don't know much about mines, I don't know how they work. But in 2001, this is now, well, it was recognised as a national importance and a scheduled monument by English Heritage. Fascinating, Winston. Should we see? I'll be honest, I don't know how all this works. How? Oh, that's what was on the diagram? So that must be the office. And then this was that thing that was on the diagram. Because is that what they put all the stuff in? And it goes, I don't know, let's go see. I don't know how that works. I don't know what that does, but it looks fascinating. Oh, I don't know if I can make it. Try again. Oh, didn't expect that. Okay, so let's get back en route. We're now going up there. Actually quite a lot of water here. Alright, you're gonna have to take it steady, Paul. Stay that side of the stone. Good boy. Get him across first. Oh, you're alright, good boy. Go on. Good lad. Okay, now I need to get across. So I made it across the stream, but in order for me to do so, I had to put my camera away that I was using to video Winston. And in the moment of me turning around to put the camera in my bag, Winston thought that I was turning around to walk in the other direction. So he went across the stream again to come back to me, and then had to cross it for the third time as we crossed over the stream again. And he is now completely wet, and you can see it's given him the zoomies. I was not happy with this whatsoever, because this meant that his jacket that he had on and his harness, which is underneath his jacket, were then completely wet, and it was a cold day. Now luckily I have another jacket for him in my backpack, which I switched over later, but I was not happy that my dog was now completely soaking. Okay, so Winston has had an outfit change. He is in dress number 2. It wasn't actually as wet as I thought. Actually, I've got his other one here drying out. See you. Got it on film. Yeah. Come on. Okay, so we started down there, we followed this track all the way up. We walked up this one, down, up this one, down. Now we're going up this one. Continue walking it forwards, and then we sleep back down, I think up one of these tracks, back into the village. Last incline. Wince, let's do it. So this view here might look a little bit familiar. This was Barrow that we climbed on the first day. We'd basically just done a huge loop, and we were coming back over the hill again. So we're back at the campsite now, and Winston's getting some treats for being the bestest boy ever. So there he's got a chicken foot, and I've also given him some sprats, which are like dried little fishies, and another chicken foot. And then after he's at them, it's off for a bath. Now I always give him lots of treats throughout this, just because it then helps to keep it a nice, fun and pleasurable experience for him. So I don't give Winston a full bath, all I do is wash off his legs and under his belly and in between his back legs. The areas really where he just kicks up all the dirt and mud, and it just stops it from drying and falling off in my caravan. And then after he's had a wash, I just towel dry him and wrap him up in his fleece to keep him warm. And then after I'm finished, I just give the dog wash a quick rinse so that it's nice and clean for the next person. So Winston is now clean and fed and sorted. I've got some sausage casserole with some bread and butter. As you can see, the butter situation has not improved. And our window view today is actually of the hills that we walked over. So we walked over the top of these. We ended up doing about 7.3 miles in the end, and it took us about 3 hours. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we're happy with that, eh, Wince? Yeah. So Winston is snoring away under his blanket. I've now got the laptop out to start work. It's just gone 20 to 4. I'll probably work till about 9 o'clock, so I can get a good 5 hours working. I mean, it's not an 8-hour day, but it's still pretty decent.